Hey buddy, Crow back again, and what I thought we'd do here is take apart one of these Super Pockets. I decided I'm going to take apart the Capcom one. I do have both the Taito and the Capcom one. Not really necessary to take apart both, but I do want to take apart one of them just to see kind of what's inside. Maybe we'll see something interesting. Maybe we won't. I don't really plan on modding this at all. This is just because I like to take stuff apart. So first, let's take apart the spacer. And again, I've never taken any of these apart before, so who knows if I run into any problems. Should be interesting, but I have a lot of tools here to be prepared. I even have this, this is really the first time I'm kind of actually using this iFixit magnetic mat. So the way this works is we'll take apart a screw here. For example, we put that on the thing here, and it even comes with a little magnet, little dry erase marker, and we could write that this is the we could write that this is the back screw, just in case we forget what that is. And, in case there's always a chance I can't read my writing too, but I don't think it's going to be that complicated. I have taken apart the Evercade EXP, and the Evercade VS before. So, even though this isn't labeled as an Evercade, I might as well take it apart anyway. All right, that's screw 2. Now, there's no guarantee that once I get all 4 of these screws out that I'll be able to just pop it apart. Could be a hidden screw somewhere. Could be clamped somewhere. I think there's actually a screw under this license sticker. All right, we'll grab a gold one. I could try and peel the sticker off. Let's try that, because it seems like I should be able to do that. Oh, I'm ripping the sticker. Again, it's not, I don't care if I ruin this thing. That's partially why I'm taking it apart, too. Curious, and 2, I don't care if I ruin it. But I really don't think I'll make it unplayable. And you know what? There was a little notch there, but there's no screw. So we can put that sticker back. All right, no harm, no foul. Now, let's see if we can get something to pry this apart with. And I'm guessing it'll come right. Oh, look at it. Okay, it slid right in there. I'm willing to bet it's kind of like probably clipped in there as well. So it probably snaps in there. Let's try the top. Oh, there it is. That was the secret. From the top is probably the best way to go about doing this. All right. Here's our battery. Glued, but stick. Okay, well, there's a button. Actually, we can get rid of the back buttons. Oh no, actually that was the volume button on the back. There we go. So that is disconnected. Let's see how big is the battery in this thing. Oh, if you can see that, it is 1500 milliamp battery in there. There we go. I can feel it coming now. All right. So there's our battery. Volume. And then it looks like our back pieces may just all be one button. All our back buttons are all one. Let's get that out. All right, there we go. There we go. All one piece. That's actually pretty nice. I like the way they did that. Back buttons. And then we've got this back plate here. I think these are even the same screws, but we're not going to take any chances. These may be slightly longer. And then here's our back plate for the cartridge. Plate. And we've got this next. Let's just unplug this since we can. Super Pocket, where nobody will ever see it. There we go. Unplug that. On the thread that. Looks like this has got 4 screws in it as well. All right, this is board screws, I'll say. This should lift right out. Yeah, look at that. There's still something. Oh, the screen is connected here. Ah, there it is. Flip upward. Now it's out. Here's our main board. This is the back padding for the, I guess because there's cartridge stuff going in and out here. I don't see Katie anywhere on this board like there were in the Evercades and all the other Evercades, so I guess officially this makes this not an Evercade product because Katie's not involved in it. So battery, there we go, that comes off too. That's the power switch. Headphone jack, very simple speaker. I could take these off, but I'm not going to because I don't really need to pull these through. Seems like rather unnecessary. But we can take a peek under and see it's just the conductive pads. Which should have been obvious anyway. They don't click like the other buttons do. And then it leaves us with this. So we have our speaker here. Here we go. Go here. On. And then our screen. Yep, here we are. There we go. So one of the things I want to see if is I want to put this back on. I'm going to kind of try and seal up around the edges more. Maybe push it in a little bit harder. Because we were getting some light bleed. And I wonder if that was just not because it was against there very well or something. Here is another piece that has 3 more buttons on it. There we go. More buttons. Art, select, home. These are just the diffusers for the lights. I believe these are exactly the same. And then in here we can see some paint. I don't know exactly. It's like some padding for those lights, which, yep, that's all it is. I'm not going to take those out. Leave them in there as it is. Not really necessary to take those out. Try not to get fingerprints on the other side of the screen. But you know what? I think we've done it. I think this thing is fully disassembled at this point. That's all there is to it. Very simple. I didn't think it'd be very complicated. The most complicated thing, the most difficult thing was figuring out how to disconnect this part from this part once all 4 the back screws were on. Once I figured, oh, the top part, you just pried out the top part, the thing popped right out. The rest of it is super simple. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it back together. I'm going to speed it up. You'll see it in fast motion, and that'll be the end of the video. right, that'll do it. Pretty easy to put back together as well. I had only one problem. I probably not going to see it in the fast forwarding. I've taken it apart and put together a couple times. The volume button was loose. Like, I'd get it together and I'd be like, this doesn't feel quite right. And I didn't know if it was because of the way I placed the button or what. But what it was I guess the way I had the wire running from the battery, it just might have been disturbing this, and it wasn't actually going down all the way, so it was a little bit loose. Now it's as tight can be. But yeah, we'll turn it on. Bingo. So very easy to take apart, very easy to put back together again. Sound is working. Let's see if I fixed that light bead problem. I pushed down on the screen. It's actually still there, but somebody had mentioned that they had that problem too, and just by pushing down, like around the corners, kind of fixed it too. So it is kind of something that you might be able to, if you have a severe light bleed around the corners or whatever, by pushing down around the edges. I don't know if it's good for the system or not, or the screen, but it seemed to solve their problem. And yeah, it's significantly less noticeable now than it was before. But just to make sure we have all our buttons working, menu up, down. Let's get into a game. So select, start. Two of these buttons obviously aren't going to work, but kicks, medium kick, punch, punch, kick, punch, and then the other two buttons don't work, or don't do anything in this particular game. It seems to be successful. I've been filming for, just about half an hour, 36 minutes. No problem at all with these things. There's really not much. I guess it's not fully together. I guess now it is. Okay. But yeah, I do think this is a good substitute for an Evercade itself. You're just not going to get all the features of an Evercade EXP. But if you're fine with that, this works perfectly fine with almost every cartridge. In fact, the Cathedral that doesn't work will be working sometime in the future. The actual developer of that game is going to make sure it does work on the Evercade, from what I've heard. Just don't have button remappings, and I don't think it'll ever be updated to have button remappings or anything like that. But it does have save states. If you're good with what this is, it's a very good substitute for an actual Evercade EXP. If you can do without the Wi-Fi and updates and games of the month and etc., etc., etc. Anyway, let's leave it at that. See you next time.